Good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of the Men's Lounge. So last week we were here to ask a question. And the question was, is love enough to marry? I mean, if you think you love someone, was it enough to marry? I mean, we had Kelly and Harrison try to help us, find some answers to that. Now, this week is going to be something different where we'll be discussing health. But before I go there, I want to invite all of you to be part by joining us on our social media platforms at ETV Ghana. So on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, at ETV Ghana, you can find us. I want to say a big thank you for you making the time to join us. I'll go on my very first break quickly. When I'm back, I'll introduce you to who is here to do the discussion with me. I'll tell you what exactly we'll be talking about, and then we can invite you also to send your comment, and then we proceed with the discussion. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are here in the lounge about to start our discussion. Today we are talking about stress and its health implications in men. Stress and its health implication in men. And with me to do the discussion today, I have Dr. Frederick Ahin. He happens to be a consultant, a senior specialist at the 37 Military Hospital. Doc, Akwaba, good to see you from afar. Boza. You know, Corona has brought us something new. Yeah, and we are keeping it. Yes, we are keeping it. Also, I have with me Prince Ofe. Prince Ofe happens to be a psychotherapist. He's a licensed psychologist, certified marriage and family counselor. Prince, no, counselor, Prince or counselor. Akwaba, you are closer, so let me give you this one. How are we all? How has the week been? Prince, well, I know you've been fasting. I'm aware.
Anyway, we ended it.
You ended it?
Yeah, we've ended it, and we crowned it with greater works.
Greater works.
Yes.
Nice. But how has it been for the whole week?
Yeah, I think, today is Monday. I think the week has started well. Just that I'm working on some research study, and it seemed to be taking some bit of...
I can help you at a fee. No coffee or something small.
Yeah, that's worth considering because... it's qualitative, so it's taking quite some time.
Okay. Doc, I mean, from the weekend, I know doctors, especially those on call, you could be called, my friend, where are you?
My weekend was school.
School,
it was school, yeah. There was no call because our junior doctors were on grounds to do most of the work, so...
At this point, I envy you when the junior doctors are on the ground.
How you for do?
Anyway, you've paid your dues, so it's obvious you need to. I mean, it's a time for you to also sit at that level. So today we are discussing stress and its health implications. A lot of people talk about being stressed from work, relationships, financial pressure and all that. Doc, what is stress?
Okay, thank you, Nana. Nana, stress has several definitions, but to the ordinary man, it is an imbalance between our resources and our demands. We all have demands, and I did a little bit of economics, and economics will tell you that the means to fulfill the demands are limited. In other words, our resources are always in short supply. So when there is an imbalance between what we demand and our ability to fulfill that, we put stress on us. Other definitions also say that stress is a perceived threat. You perceive that there is going to be a threat, then it puts undue stress on you. So that is basically what stress is. It's about.
Prince, counselor, so let's look at it from the point of your field as a psychologist. How would you, put stress? What is stress from that angle?
Yeah, so from that angle, we can look at stress simply as the response of the brain and the body to tension and pressure.
Okay.
That's basically it. Whenever a person comes under some form of tension or pressure, the brain reacts or responds to that. The body also reacts or responds to that. So that kind of reaction of the brain and the body is what ends up leading to stress.
So would we say it's part of the reason why we say it's a threat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So if that is what stress is, what are the common causes of stress?
Well, when it comes to stress, first of all, we have to appreciate the foundation that everyone goes through stress, some form of stress.
Even children?
Yeah,
Everybody.
everybody
I see.
goes through some form of stress. So that in that context, stress by itself is not all bad or negative, because we have good and positive stress, and then we have negative, and then let's say bad stress.
Okay.
When you look at even from the angle of the positive stress, that's usually what we call eustress, EU, and then you add stress, eustress.
Eustress.
Is that type of stress that motivates us to achieve in life. It makes us to
Oh, that one.
dare do things that
Challenge
ordinarily
ourselves.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't have even done. You see, so that's the type of stress that normally gets us to, attain heights in life. So that type of stress is positive, and it's required for all of us to become who we need to become and to achieve the kind of things we need to achieve.
I see. So then, I mean, asking what the common causes are, let's see if you can narrow down. I want to know. So what are some of these things that cause the stress?
When it comes to the causes of stress, from a clinical psychology point of view, we have 4 major causes of stress. In other words, all the causes of stress can be grouped under 4.
Under 4, okay.
One has to do with frustration. So that when you take frustration, we have 2 aspects of frustration. The first aspect has to do with loss.
Okay.
So when a person experiences some form of loss, whether a loss of a job, loss of a contract that you were expecting, loss of a partner, loss of maybe a child or anything that's connected to loss, it creates frustration, and that frustration leads to stress. It could also be failure. When you have a goal that you want to achieve, and along the way there was some kind of interruption, you were not able to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
Just that failure to achieve the goal also can lead
stress.
to frustration, and that frustration will lead to
the
stress. So that's one, frustration. Then the second one has to do with conflict. Whenever a man or a woman goes through conflict, that leads to stress.
Okay.
And of course, with conflict, you can look at it from different angles. Conflict occurs when you have a situation where you have, let's say, 2 or more incompatible motivations, which are all, striving for opportunity to express themselves. So let's say you are a man, you are a family man, you have children, you have wife. Now, the demands from that aspect, just as Doug was explaining demand, the demand from your family life, when that one ends up trying to get your attention at the same time when demands from your working life is also demanding your attention, then that time when the
conflicted.
they become conflicted, and that conflict alone leads to stress.
Okay.
So that's the second aspect of the cause of stress. Then you have the third aspect, which has to do with change.
Okay.
Change by itself causes stress. So that even a change of a job, change of a location, change in terms of traveling, you travel from Ghana to a different place, just that change alone causes stress.
Oh, but that stress can be nice.
Well, so that's why we have
Especially
positive.
when it's a holiday.
That's it. So that's why you have positive stress and then negative stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the fourth
then
one?
the final one has to do with what we call pressure.
Oh.
Pressure causes stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just to add to what the counselor is saying. Sometimes you go to work and abusive words from your boss can just put pressure on you.
Yeah.
Because just the thought of going to face that boss can put stress on you. I mean, when we're in school, the thought of going to work on Monday. So on Sunday night, we go through so much stress because Monday, you don't know what is going to.
Yeah. So with all that we have said, knowing what some of the causes of stress are, being able to categorize them into these 4 major. Doc, how does this affect the body? As a man, how does it affect ourselves, our being, our body? How does it affect us?
The body works in a very nice way. Now, anytime the body is subjected to stress, there are certain chemicals in the body that are released to either prepare you to either face that stressful stimulus or to run away from that stimulus. And those chemicals, we call them hormones. And there are about 3 major hormones that are normally released whenever anybody goes through any form of stress. The first one is adrenaline, and the second one is cortisol, and the third one is oxytocin. Let me just explain what happens. Anytime we are subjected to stress, there is a master gland in the brain called the pituitary gland. It quickly sends information to the adrenal glands. They are just on top of the kidneys. So they produce the hormones. And anytime they produce the hormones have effect on the body. So for example, when adrenaline is produced, it causes constriction of most of the vessels. So that is what causes the heart to start beating faster, because once you are faced with any challenge, blood must go to all the vital organs to prepare to face that stimulus. So the heart then must pump blood faster. So we tend to have the heart beating faster. And when this continues for a very long time, you end up developing what we call high blood pressure, because the pressure is always very high. Now, cortisol will prepare you to produce a lot of glucose. Glucose gives you the energy to face that stimulus or what is causing the stress. So once cortisol is produced, there is constant blood glucose. The glucose is constantly high. And Nana, trust me, when the glucose is constantly high in your blood, it tends to destroy a lot of organs. Okay. And that is the commonest cause of diabetes. So a lot of people who go through stress end up developing high blood pressure. They also end up developing diabetes because there is constant production of glucose in the blood to provide you the energy to face that situation.
I see.
Apart from that, your lungs must also prepare to face the stress. So your respiration starts going up. So you end up having you breathe faster to make sure that the inbuilt carbon dioxide comes out, so you can get in more air to face whatever situation. Now, the third hormone is oxytocin, which is more common in females. Now, what happens is that oxytocin beats down the effects of adrenaline and cortisol.
Okay.
Women produce more oxytocin. It helps them in contraction. So women tend to handle stress better than men. It's because of the production.
How can we get this oxytocin in ourselves? We need to get some.
Exactly.
Yes, we need.
Exactly.
Really? So they actually are able to handle stress.
Men bottle up stress. We don't talk. So men will normally talk. They won't talk. And by the time they start
talk a lot.
Things have been destroyed.
Okay.
So that are based on the organs that these hormones affect, then it leads to the risk factors that perceived stress that counselor spoke about. Expresses.
I see. I mean, so bringing this aspect of how women are able to, handle stress more, I'm tempted to ask you that, are men more susceptible to stress?
When counselor was talking, he spoke about what really causes stress.
Yeah.
We are equally prone to stress.
Okay.
But the way we handle stress
is different.
It's different. Women always want to talk. And talking alone
so Doc, you want to say women are talkative? Is that what you are saying?
Not that they are talkative. they are by nature.
By nature.
Yeah.
They like talking.
Men are logical. Before a man speaks, you would analyze the pros and the cons before speaking.
But the women don't.
No, women are intuitive.
Okay.
And whatever a woman tells you, most of the times is correct.
But we
Yeah.
never accept it.
We will not accept it as men, but that's how women are created.
Yeah.
Very intuitive.
Yeah.
When a woman says, Kwabda, be careful about this woman, she has thought far, but you may not know. You play her to the last minute, then you realize that you have committed.
She said it.
She said it.
Okay.
That is how women are.
I see. So I mean, in that case, how are you able to tell, the symptoms of stress in a man? For example, I mean, if you meet a man right now, are you able to look at the person and tell that this man is stressed out? Are there things you can look out for that you can easily tell, physically, emotion? I want to know, what are the things you want to look at?
Of course, you can tell when somebody is experiencing stress, especially the negative type of stress. That's what we call distress, D-I, and then you add stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell because there will be emotional responses that will start being seen. There are even mental responses that the person will start demonstrating. You will even be seeing some form of physiological responses that will point to that, and behavioral responses. So let's say you take the mental responses. If somebody is confronted with certain events or situations that seem to be unpleasant, basically, the mental response to that, you sometimes observe that the person's attention level is affected. The person's ability to focus and concentrate. So the person's at work. You know this person to be hardworking, able to get job done within a short time. But all of a sudden, he's sitting by the work and it's taking longer than usual.
Yeah.
So that loss of concentration and attention is a symptom of stress. It can also be still within that realm of mental response. There can be sometimes all kinds of negative thoughts. We call it automatic negative thoughts, ants, taking place. You have all kinds of sometimes difficulty to remember things, so forgetfulness.
Yeah.
The next moment you spoke about something and then you ask him, he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
That's mental symptoms that this person is going through some stress. But when you take emotional symptoms, those ones, many. Easily irritated, easily agitated, now getting angry quickly.
For no reason.
For no reason. I mean, things that ordinarily will not get this person angry, the person's getting angry, the annoyance. You see a lot of expression of annoyance. In some people's cases, sadness, I mean, intermittently and all that. So those are things that can tell you that, oh, no, this person is going through stress. Then when you look at even the physiological, Doug was mentioning some of them. Sometimes the heartbeat, starts going high. Even breathing. For some, there's shortness of breath or shallow breathing. You have restlessness. You have sometimes back pains, neck pains, headaches. You have instances of stomach issues. That one, it can either be what we call irritable bowel syndrome. You can have cases of heartburns as well. You can have constipation, diarrhea. For some people, just stomach pains. And all kinds of sweating. The place is well ventilated, and yet the person is sweating. That's a symptom, physiological symptom of stress.
I see.
Yeah.
Some of us react differently to some things, and
well, yeah.
So I'm not sure that one can be stress. Like some people will taste pepper and they start sweating. I hope that's not bad.
No, those ones are different. If it's directly connected to some form of pressure, let's say, based on your makeup, some particular food that you react to, that's different. That's different. That's different.
It's okay. I'm safe. Yeah. I'm safe. Doc, when you spoke earlier, you spoke about the fact that some of these things lead to the pressure that people complain about and all that. Now, of course, you'd associate some of these things obviously directly to the heart. And my question would then be that, so does stress have a direct relationship to the cardiovascular diseases that people suffer sometimes?
Exactly. Stress has direct relationship. You see, a lot of diseases that we can't even pinpoint the cause has been related to stress. Stress is actually the leading cause of a lot of diseases, including most of the cardiovascular diseases. Like I mentioned, once you are being prone or you are being subjected to any stimulus of stress, the body keeps producing the hormone. So it causes the heart to constantly beat. So the heartbeat is faster, the pressure is up. And it leads to a whole lot of things. Sometimes you can even have a heart attack. The heart ceases to function instantly. You see, one of the things that Counselor was talking about, stress. Stress causes you, it gives you what we call insomnia.
Yeah.
You are not insomnia, you are not able to sleep.
Sleep issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes when somebody comes to the clinic and complains, Doc, I can't
Difficulty
sleep.
sleeping.
Then you
Then
know that there's
there's
stress
the
somewhere.
stress. And once you are not able to sleep, it tends to weigh, you become fatigued, it wastes you. And once fatigue is setting in, the way the heart can also pump also goes down.
Okay.
Yeah, so stress is directly related to.
Wow. Well, we are here discussing the issues of stress and how it's affecting men, especially. I would urge you to keep your text messages coming on our WhatsApp platform, which is 02022222054. I'm going to go on a break. Please let your messages come. When we are back, I'll look at your messages. We'll go straight and then come back to be discussing the issues on health. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're here discussing stress and what effect it has on the health of men. And I'm still here with my counselor and then my doctor. We'll be doing the discussion. So, counselor, now, when we spoke earlier, you were from the psychology, aspect. I want to know, Doc had said, and you had even said the same thing, that women know how to handle stress more, but men, we hold it in. And we are talking about men. Now, holding in the stress that we don't speak about and we are unable to, voice out and all that, how does it affect us psychologically?
Yeah, it does affect us a lot. So that when you even take some of the mental health disorders, of course, sometimes we call it psychiatric disorders, you realize that most times when it comes to anxiety disorders, you see men becoming more victims of that as compared to the aspect of depression, where women are twice as much susceptible to clinical depression than men. Yeah, when it comes to depression.
So there's something that happens to them more than us.
Yeah, with
Okay.
depression, they are
Okay.
twice as susceptible to depression than men. But anxiety disorders, whereby anxiety disorders, whether generalized anxiety disorder or even social anxiety disorder or any of the types of anxiety disorders,
Okay.
men are more prone to that.
To that.
And that's largely because of stress, So all things being equal, yes, when it comes to the mental health conditions, stress does contribute a lot to that. One of them is anxiety disorders. We have several of them. Another is clinical depression. That's also very important. And then we have many others that literally stress ends up contributing to.
I see. So directly it has some
Yes,
some
directly.
much effect on our psychological being.
Yeah.
Interesting. Doc, now let's talk about men. Like men. We are men, yeah. Let's talk about men. So can stress, all that we have explained, the types, the 4 categories, can it cause erectile dysfunction?
Stress can cause erectile dysfunction.
Really?
What happened when I started explaining, I said that every information is processed by a master gland in the brain called the pituitary gland.
Yeah.
And that sends information to every part of the body. Now, for your penis to become erected, what happens, or the physiology is, there are certain, something like a foam. So what happens, blood gets there and they make it very taut or very hard. And that is what erection simply means. blood getting into the pineal organs and making it very taut. Now, when you are going through stress, that information from the brain to tell the blood to get to the penis is cut. So there is a cut in the communication. And when it so happens, you'll be there and the penis cannot erect. That is how stress causes erectile dysfunction. So once you are bombarded with all kinds of stress, that information is cut. So you'll be there, but I mean, you don't feel nothing.
So there's a lot
blood
of stress.
doesn't exactly.
I see.
And Doc, Counselor mentioned the various types of stresses that we go through.
Yeah.
And when you really look at it, men really go through a lot of stress. They bottle up things, and so it really affects them so much, and that cuts the pathway.
I see. I mean, from where you sit, you come across a lot of people coming. I mean, who
Yeah.
come to you with that complaint?
Yeah, it's a lot. Even with what Doc was saying, you remember he was talking about the heart-related issues. Yeah, heart attacks. There are people who come and then they are talking about shortness of breath. They are talking about panic attacks. They are talking of all kinds of things. And literally, it's about this so stress thing. Yeah.
But Doc, what about infertility, man?
See, actually, it's the same. What happened is that
I'm thinking that should be different. I mean, that obviously should be some
Even
out of
loss-
some nutrients and stuff. But
you see,
No.
when we talk about, when
Really?
we talk about
No.
infertility, you are looking at the quantity of sperm produced,
yeah,
the morphology of the sperms produced. Stress has the ability to cause distortion in the morphology of the sperms. So you wouldn't be able to have the right kind of sperms to impregnate a woman. So stress is all around. And now let me just, because we are around the male organ, let me also say that stress also causes prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
You
causes
see,
prostate cancer.
Exactly. When you are going through stress, for us men, there is a hormone called noradrenaline
Okay.
that is released into the male organ or male system. And noradrenaline has the propensity of causing prostate cancer. Yeah. So
Wow.
people who go through stress stand a greater risk of getting prostate cancer.
Well, you've heard it for yourself. Let's find ways. I'm sure Doc will be telling us about how to avoid these things very soon. But hey, you need to start sending your messages and your questions via a WhatsApp number, which is 020-2222-054. 020-2222-054. So, how does, I think we've spoken about, I mean, the infertility part and also the erectile dysfunction part. Of course, from where you sit, I'm sure people come to you a lot, and so you hear, some of these things. I mean, in this regard, I don't want to be in your shoes. I don't want to be a doctor or a psychologist. But what are some of the healthy ways to deal with the stress?
Okay. But do you know this is even not all the health issues with stress?
Tell me, I want to know. Before we even come to how to deal with it, I
because
want to know.
even when it comes to our immune system,
Yeah.
our immune system is affected by stress, such that the things that ordinarily your immune system could have fought against, because of stress, you are susceptible to lots of viruses and bacteria. So all kinds of illnesses, cold, fever, and other forms of illnesses.
I
when you are
have
stressed.
noticed. Yes, I've noticed
flu,
that as yes,
cold,
and malaria.
and those kind of
Issues
things. Yeah.
malaria takes over
Exactly.
easily
Yeah.
when you are stressed.
Yeah. So
wow.
because of your immune system is weakened and it becomes more susceptible during such seasons.
I see.
Yeah.
So strategically, what are some of the healthy, ways we can begin to deal with the stress?
One, you can start dealing with the stress by engaging in things like exercise,
Okay.
where we are talking of physical exercise.
But are you not causing yourself physical stress?
No.
Uh,
That's actually what helps deal with the stress. So physical exercise is one of them.
Okay.
Then you remember Doc spoke about insomnia,
Yeah.
sleep issues, whether difficulty sleeping or difficulty staying asleep. So one of the ways to deal with stress is to now spend more attention on your sleep-related issues and your sleep patterns. So that in that case, sleep therapy is one of them. You are guided about some of the conditions that you have to create around you when you want to sleep, the quantity of the sleep in terms of how long you should
How long,
sleep.
yeah.
Because sometimes some of us keep putting ourselves under all kinds of pressure and all kinds of tension because we sleep too little. Do you know that ordinarily no adult should sleep less than 7 hours? All things
7
being equal,
hours.
between 7 to 9 hours is what we should sleep.
No, Prince, hold on.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be saying that that's for those who do their own work?
No.
7 hours. I mean,
7 to 9 hours is the real healthy kind of
you should be
number of
sleeping for
hours.
7
You should
to
be
9
sleep-
hours.
So 6 hours, 5 hours, 4
Counselor,
hours.
you do sleep for 9 hours.
Yeah, I have to. No, for 9, no. I don't sleep.
At least
9
you get
hours.
5 and 6 there.
No.
You don't
I
get
try
7.
to get the 7. Yes, that
You
one
try,
there I try. Yeah.
but you don't get it.
No, I do. I do. But for the 9, no. But for the 7, yes. Because
I see.
you know, Doc spoke about how sleep does so much.
I'm even going to go to, because you see, a lot of people have that issue with sleep. You'll be surprised how many people are awake at the 3 a.m.s and the 4 a.m.s. And if you belong to there are certain WhatsApp groups that I know of. That, look, you have people there who even at 2 a.m. are sending messages. And you wonder, and in the morning, look, there's no time of the day that they go silent. And I wonder, do they even sleep at all?
Yeah.
Sometimes if you really assess them, you realize that what is keeping them is they thinking about what things that they have to do
The next
day.
I tell you.
Yeah. When we were growing up, there was what we call siesta. Sometimes in the
Oh,
afternoon.
a lot
Yeah,
of schools
yeah,
had it.
I mean,
My
yeah.
school had it.
I mean, why do we have siesta when we were students, but when we grow up, we don't have siesta? We put so much stress.
Oh, well, maybe
on
we thought in the
ourselves.
schools it was just military rule. So if it's time for CS, everybody goes. You don't have a choice.
You have to, sometimes, not necessarily, but
So it should be a lifestyle, eh?
it should be a lifestyle. Sometimes taking just quick naps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it helps.
Quick naps
Yeah.
really helps.
All right, so this is coming from Joe. Joe is sending us this message from Santa. He says from Santa, I think it's Santa Maria. Please, I want to know how can you diffuse stress. This program is worth listening. Thank you very much. Well, I'm sure that is what we are currently talking about, how we can deal, strategies that we can use to, deal with some of these stress. So apart from the exercise, what else can we do?
There are more. Music therapy.
Oh, that would be helpful.
Very powerful.
I love dancing.
When you are stressed, you can just engage in, soft kind of classical music, and that begins to distress you. Yeah. You can also engage in healthy eating is very important too when it comes to issues of stress. So eating well also has a way of helping us reduce stress. There are some of us that we are so busy, occupied with work here and there. You want to meet deadlines, projects here and there. So sometimes we even put eating aside, and it's like, oh, that's secondary matter.
Yeah.
When I'm done with everything, then I'll attend to my eating. So sometimes from morning into 1, 2, some of us have not eaten, and then later before we think of eating. That's creating room for more stress, because not eating puts you in a state where you are more susceptible to stress. And not even forgetting the aspect of something like realization.
Okay.
A lot of us don't even take that seriously. But realization helps with dealing with stress.
Dealing with stress. No, I saw somewhere. Okay,
Let me just add.
Let me ask you this, and then you add on, and then look at that also for me. So, breathing. Is it a
Deep
way
breathing,
of?
yes.
Yeah. Is it a way of?
Yeah.
You see, anytime you have to, for example, go through any situation, an interview or something, you are so stressed. So you're taking like 3 deep breaths.
Yeah.
That's 3. It calms you. It allays all forms of anxiety.
Yeah.
Then you can be able to go through whatever interview.
But that one comes from panic. So then panic is also stress then.
Yeah, it's also.
Wow.
I was just going to add some few things to what a
Please go
counselor
ahead, yes.
said. See, one of the ways we can beat stress is to have support systems.
Yeah.
Support systems. sometimes people frown on me, boys. But when we meet as men, I mean, you can share your stories with people. People can share their stories. People can encourage you where you are down. So having a very good support system is very, very important. And of course, if you are a Christian, I mean, you speaking to God about your stress, I mean, it's also a form of support system. So support system is very, very important. The other thing too that we can use to really beat stress is when we organize ourselves. Planning, proper planning. Now, when you plan your life, you lead very stress-free life.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially this one, we are men. Sometimes we do men. They come and they leave their car key here. The next time their car key is here. They are going out and they ask you, "Where's my car key? Where's my car key?" But I mean, if you have one spot that you keep your car keys, you are going and you just pick it. No stress.
Yeah.
So once you organize yourself so well, you'll be able to beat stress. The other thing too is to learn to say no. There are certain, we are not superhumans. There are certain things that we cannot do. So once you cannot do, I mean,
say no.
I'm telling you now, I mean, I can't do it. Sometimes we try to be superhumans at certain situations where we have to delegate people to do certain things. We want to go and do those things. And it puts so much stress on us. Now sometimes you take your cloth to a tailor to sew it for you. A tailor knows that he has so many things, but he will still collect it.
Cause himself stress and cause you stress. Those people,
I mean,
anyway,
it's just something. So delegation. Once you are able to delegate, I mean, it's really.
And it's all part of being organized. Well,
Yeah.
I heard it from a man one day that if you fail to plan, it means you are planning to fail. I'm going to go on the next break. Please stay with us. We'll be back short. When we are back, I'll read your messages. The phone line would be open as well. Then we can continue the discussion. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are still in the lounge discussing stress issues and how it affects men. I'm still here with friends and then my doctor from 37. You know, when he stands 37, you know what that means. Yeah. Anyway, so with all that we have said so far, how do we prevent stress?
One of the ways to help prevent stress is to address what Doug earlier spoke about when it comes to threats. Perception is very important when it comes to dealing with stress.
Yeah.
Because we have what we call subjective cognitive appraisal, where the primary appraisal is where you have to choose between threats, the situation that looks quite unpleasant. Are you seeing it as a threat or perceiving it as a threat, or you are perceiving it as a challenge? So all of a sudden you lose your job. That is unpleasant, all right. But how are you perceiving it? Are you perceiving it as a threat that now that I've lost my job, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. I can't get food to eat. I can't take care of my children's school fees. I can't do that. By going on that tangent of worrying, what you are doing is that your perception has pushed you into threat mode. And that's where negative stress starts setting in.
Yeah.
But if, yes, it's an unpleasant event, all right. But if you start responding to it as a challenge, I didn't think I would lose my job all of a sudden. But if I've lost it, what is it telling me? Are there some areas of my life that I can actually explore such that they can end up replacing this loss of a job? Can I explore some businesses and all? By taking it as a challenge, just by that alone, I'm positioning myself to prevent stress.
I see. Well, the phone lines are open now. The number to call is 0555 657278. 0555 657278. Please call and share your thoughts. Ask questions. Doc is here. Counselor is also here. Ask your questions and let's see. I'm sure we'll be able to deal with the questions. This one is coming from Joseph Amono. Joseph says, oh, okay, we've taken Joseph already, but there's another person. Oh, yeah. So Joseph says that, please, can stress cause a man to not want to be intimate? To not, I think that he's talking about sexual drive. Can stress cause a man to get to that tangent of not having that drive? Doc?
Actually, stress can.
It does?
Yeah, because once you go into stress, the pathway is blocked. So that drive is not there.
It's not there.
So, I mean,
So looking at, I mean, all these, what we have gathered so far about stress, at what point should a man begin to look for the professionals to talk to? I mean, the counselors and the doctors, the psychologists. At what point should a man begin to look to talking to you?
Nana, thank you very much. There are what we call red flags. I mean, when you start seeing those red flags, then you know that you are where you are heading towards.
It's slippery.
Exactly. The first one is headaches. When you start having constant headaches, you take medication and you don't see any remission.
Yeah.
It could be that stress is the cause, because counselor mentioned that when you are going through stress, one of the things that happens, your muscles become tensed and you begin to have what we call them tension headaches.
Yeah.
You take medication, it goes, the following day it comes.
there.
So constant headaches, that is one. Number two, insomnia. You can't sleep. We mentioned that once you are there and it's constant, you can't sleep continuously. That means that where you are heading towards is not the best. The next is easy fatigability. A counselor mentioned, once your muscles are tensed.
Doc, I have to hold you on briefly to pick a call. Good evening, caller. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good evening. Please, my name is Evelyn. I'm calling from Dansoman.
Hi, Evelyn. Please, let's hear you.
All right. Please, I want to find out if reading reduces stress.
Okay. Thank you, Evelyn. I'm sure Doc and counselor will deal with that. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, too.
Does reading reduce stress?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's one of
It's
the
one
way-
of the realization
Okay.
coping strategies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you see reading as a means to relax, it will help you because it's a realization. But you don't go and read academic material.
I mean, it should be something that you enjoy.
Something you enjoy.
Don't go reading what osmosis is when you know you are stressed.
That one will create more.
You need to enjoy yourself.
All right.
There
Well-
was some time I was watching a Nigerian movie.
Uh-huh.
My sister came and said, you are watching Nigerian movie for real? Because she sees me as always like
Yeah.
on the go. But
Hang-
you need
hanging
to do
your
something that
stethoscope
you
and the
enjoy.
rest.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Exactly.
it doesn't look like we have much time. Let's wrap up. I'll take a quick one from you, a quick one from me. I have only 30 seconds, and then we can move.
All right, so from all that we've discussed, I would say that stress should not be taken lightly, especially negative stress. We have to do all we can to make sure that we properly deal with it. And in cases where it's gone far, especially when you realize it's interfering with your day-to-day responsibilities, try and get help,
Help.
as
Great.
as
Doc.
much as possible.
Okay. Stress, like Counselor said, it's a change. We will all go through change in one form or the other. And change is associated with uncertainties. It makes it so scary. But once you are able to manage all these changes, I mean, those demands are well taken care of. Your priorities are set right, and
right.
you are fine.
Well, that is all time could permit us to bring you. Let me just end by telling you that if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Let us anticipate these things and work hard towards being not stressed. Well, thank you, doctor. Thank you, counselor. I'm sure next week we'll be back your way with another great topic that you want to hear. Please stay safe. It's important. Health is important. I know there's a lot of financial stress in the system, but please try as much as possible to sleep more. I'm sure that can help. We'll see you next week. Please stay safe.